During this holiday season, don't get caught standing there with your Yule log in your hand. Go to www.NTTFGPOD.com and subscribe. I'm Rock.
And I'm Archie.
Well, our opinions, they might not matter to some, but...
What are you doing in there?
It's a podcast.
Immature, crass, trashy. And those are their good qualities. These poor schmucks are a couple of IQ points away from eating paste. But when it comes to music, sports, and comedy, well, that's all they know. You're listening to
Not These Two Fucking Guys.
Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
Yo, Rocco.
My main fucking shit stain.
What's up, bro?
My blood pressure. You?
Listen, there's some things I want to talk to you about. One, did you hear Korn came out with, I'm going to say it, one of my favorite covers to date? They just came out with Wood by Alice in Chains. Did you hear this yet?
I did, and it's dope AF, as the kids say.
Ah. So listen.
Let me tell you, that's like legit, beyond being an awesome cover, one of my favorite original songs of all time.
All right, so listen, check this out. I'm not a fan of bands that just do a cover song, meaning they don't put their spin on it, meaning that I got to hear them just pretty much, if it's in the same key, it's even more fucked. When bands put their own spin on it, I love shit like that. Now, in this case, Korn, this is to let you know Korn's sound is so ferocious and distinctive that they didn't change the cover that much, but it was so fucking good. It's so good.
Oh my God.
Korn's down-tuned style and their sound. What I did really dig was that, that riff. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah.
But you can hear, like, I don't know if it's Monkey or Head, but maybe Monkey, like, throwing a little Korn effect with, like, a lot of tremolo. And it's like, wow, 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 wow. Like my impersonation.
Yeah, behind them, you're right. Behind, like, the main riff, you hear a distinctive Korn-esque sound.
Yes. So that, I'm a big fan of. Jonathan Davis fucking killed it. And it sounds as creepy as Alice in Chains. No?
Correct. Dude, right from the beginning of the song, first off, I don't know that Fieldy gets enough credit. I mean, everyone knows he's a great bass player, but enough credit for the fucking, like, he has such a distinctive sound that the last string on his bass looks like, it's got to be like a piece of, like, linguine smashing against the pickups, right? And you hear that opening sound from the bass, and you're like, ooh, all right. But yeah, it's like, it sounds like a percussion instrument, if you would.
Bro, anybody out there, they hear that song, play that in your car, put up the bass a teeny bit, and Fieldy's gonna be in your back seat, fucking blowing away your ears. It's awesome, bro.
Even Jonathan Davis does a little riff with his vocal melody in certain parts, and it's just really, really good.
Thumbs up. It's a big thumbs up to fucking Korn for this one.
Yo, dog.
Yo, dog.
Yo, you watching your dogs?
So you put me onto this because I didn't know that this shit came out yet. And usually I'm all up on this. And I'm like, come on. Yo, everything I wanted out of this song. Watch Your Dogs featuring DMX. Who you got? Come on, rifle them off.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, and DMX. What a fucking killer song for 2020, dude.
How about the beat?
End the year off right.
How about the beat?
Dude, the beat is like, it's like, to me, an updated classic West Coast beat, right? So the song starts off with Dre and Snoop, and it's like fucking, it's like if you take the Chronicle from 92, update to 2020, but still stays true to the West Coast beat and West Coast roots. And then, so something very unique is hearing DMX with that raspy, distinctive growl
Yeah.
and tone of his voice, rapping over a fucking West Coast beat. I was like, woo-hoo-hoo.
Right?
Come on.
Didn't they fucking tickle you a little bit? Tickle your tits a little bit?
Oh my God. And then to end the song, Eminem just reiterates why he's fucking sick. You give him any fucking beat. He's just ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Yeah. I want to sit in a room with him and hit a pot and just hear him go.
Holy shit, dude. And it's just like, I'm like,
He's got a line in there. Like, I mean, you know, his verses are fucking dope anyway, but he's got a line in there that just said, like, I believe he's talking about the Grammys, and, you know, fucking, you're nominated and you're brought to the show, and then you're nobody after that. You're waiting, somebody wins, it's unheard of, you don't even know who they are. But there's a line in there that he's like, it's time to separate the sheep from goats. I'm not a fan of you writers. I'm not afraid of ghosts. Come on,
you know, after I told you about the song and I'm listening to it again and again, I'm like, all right, are me and Archie just old fucks?
Yeah, we are.
And that's what we want to hear, but I'm like, no, dude, this shit is like, it's something that's out there today and sounds just as good, if not better, than 90% of the shit out there.
Yes, I agree. Everyone out there, please subscribe to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast. Hit us up on Instagram at NTTFG POD. Hit us up on Gmail. Tell us what the fuck you think about these two songs. NTTFGPOD at gmail.com. Go to Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, your grandmother's sister's fucking dinner table. Go subscribe to our podcast, download it, support. You know, we do this shit independent and looking for a little love out there. Rocco, how you feeling, pal?
With my motherfucking hands.
One more time. Rocco, how you feeling, pal?
With my motherfucking hands.
You better make amends with your loyal believers, dependent on your skill. I'd like to take this time to thank you all.
Yo, Rock.
What's up?
So I'm pretty stoked about this next guest, my dude. He's no rookie to the hard rock scene. And you know what I mean about rookie, like you drinking the night before Thanksgiving, like a fucking putz.
Damn right.
His previous band, Red Sun Rising, had 2 chart-topping hits, and his new band, The Violent, just dropped on the scene with a badass name and 2 ferocious singles. He's the backbone of this new group. Welcome to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast, drummer Pat Gerasia.
Good evening, fellas.
What's up, Pat?
Thanks for the intro, man. I know this is part of your show to have an epic intro. I've listened to a couple episodes, and it seems like you guys have the intro mastered.
Ah, thanks a lot, man.
So cool.
I'm glad we have now 3 listeners.
Yeah, we're working our way up. Hopefully I don't lose you guys any listeners. Bring you down to 2.
I just want to say thank you very much. I know you're on vacation. I know you're chilling down in Flow Rider, and you're giving us a little bit of your time. We really appreciate it.
No problem. I am having a whiskey at the moment, so I'm sipping a nice little Knob Creek. So I'm still on vacation. This is still great for me. So
how is it? How is vacation so far?
It's been great, man. I was actually down in North Carolina like 2 weeks ago. I've been flying around a little bit for some recording sessions, and I was supposed to come back to Florida for Thanksgiving. I was supposed to fly in today, but I said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go now," because they passed some more restrictions up in New York where I live. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna go down before they tell me I can't come down here.
Yeah.
So here I am now, 2-week vacation, and spending some time with family down here, relaxing. And my bandmates are actually both down here as well. Ironically, they have family in town too, so we kind of always end up meeting up down here randomly. So yeah,
nice.
It's been great, man. Great, very relaxing.
Good for you. Good for you. You look relaxed.
Do I look relaxed? Yeah.
For the people at home that can't, this is just audio. Sorry, Pat, because you're probably the better looking out of the three of us. But this is just audio, and Pat looks relaxed. And that's
if you guys want to do this one on video, man, keep blowing me up. This will be the video premiere for the podcast.
I want to get things rolling with just a little story, real quick. 2016-17, I believe, and you could always correct me if I'm wrong. With Red Sun Rising, Emotionless, hit the scene. I think I heard it on Sirius. I think that's where I heard it first. From the first lick, I was like, hooked, got it, getting the album, see what's up. Got the album, became a fan, leads up to about 2017-18. Shout out to your cousin Jess for hooking us up.
What's up, Jess?
What's up, Jess?
So cool.
She goes, Arch. She's going to laugh when I start doing an imitation. Arch, when are you playing again? When are you and Rocky playing again? I want to come see your band. I'm like, I don't know. She comes watch it. My cousin's in a band. And I'm like, huh, cool. Right?
Yeah,
what would be your reaction, right? Cool.
Yeah, awesome.
No, he tours. He tours. He's really good. I'm like, huh. The word tour. Huh. Hey, what band? Red Sun Rising. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I go, you know me for 5-some year, whatever. You know I'm in a band. Now you tell me your cousin's in a tour, and we got a chuckle, and she introduced us on the ship rock. We'll get to that, but a little Jessism. But how's everything now as far as the violent leads you up to the violent?
Everything's pretty good right now, man. We're it's a different feeling the way things are, obviously, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of artists, and I've listened to some of your previous podcasts with other artists, and I think we're kind of at an advantage because we're starting this project in the middle of all this bullshit that's going on, instead of being a pre-existing band that maybe has a lot of bills and they're trying to figure out ways to generate money and we can kind of just build this however we want to. We don't have that same pressure as a band that's already been touring. So obviously Red Sun Rising toured for 4 years straight, so we know all about that game, but we've just been kind of changing our strategy up and we're trying to just release a lot of music and build up our fan base organically, and there's no pressure to tour at the moment. Obviously we can't wait for that, but so yeah, we have an interesting hand of cards right now, and we're just playing some risky picks that I feel like a lot of bands can't do. Our band literally dropped a single, I think it came out in January, February. So a month later, before anything could even happen, in terms of live shows and performances, things are going to be shut down. And so yeah, we're all good, man. We've made a lot of adjustments. We've all upgraded our equipment so we can record remotely, and so yeah, I think we're off to a good start. It is a little bit of a slower start than you would expect because we can't go out and tour, but we're being patient, and we're just I think we're taking this year, 2020 has just been a year to build up our product and to build up our sound and our image and take it from there.
Good. Very good to hear.
How would you describe, for people that haven't heard you, how would you describe the band? What's the vibe in the band?
It's a pretty dark melodic sound. Compared to our last band, Red Sun Rising, that was a 5-piece band. This is a 3-piece band. It's a little edgier. The lyrics are very dark. The grooves are kind of almost kind of hip hop-esque. Some of the drum beats are not your typical, bass lines and synth and all that shit. It's not your typical stuff that you would hear on rock radio. So we're trying to kind of break the mold and have our own hybrid sound that sounds unique to us. But yeah, it's a heavy, edgy, catchy, head bobbing, riffy energy that I think is pretty contagious and pretty easy to like right off the bat.
Nice. So fly on the wall and smile like a hostage, right? Yo, so it's right from the get, you're called the Violent, and then you got song titles like this. So I listened for the last couple of days. I knew you were coming on. I heard them before, and I liked them, but I just kept listening to them because I just want to get a better feel, And I'm like, yo, if you took Red Sun Rising and bullied it and made it angry, and it's out for vengeance,
Yep.
the Violent.
I think my singer Mike's a little bit pissed off, man.
Yeah,
Mike, you
dude.
okay, man? You're right, man. We should call him and check in on him.
Smile like a hostage. I fucking love it, dude. Now you dropped these 2 singles. You said when, like in February-ish?
It's been a blur. I think it was either February or March. The first single came out, "Flying the Wall" came out, and then I think we came out in September, early September, with "Smile Like a Hostage."
So before you put these 2 out, and who knows what you wrote prior to this, or who has riffs here and there, whatever. When you started this 3-piece, you were like, were all of you on the same page? Like, hey, this is going to be darker shit, man. This is we're doing this a little different, bro. You know?
Honestly, we had our discussions on where we thought the sound was going to go, and I really think if you would have heard the direction that we talked about going and where it ended up organically, I think it turned out very different. And I think we ended up blending some of those ideas. But I think once we got into the studio, like, it just kind of unfolded on its own. And we had to write and do a lot of music creation before we got to the point where, like, all right, let's start dishing out these songs. We kind of had to refine the mold. I mean, like I said before, we went from a 5-piece band to a 3-piece band. The dynamic changed. There's a lot more room in a song when there's only 3 guys. There's not 5 guys, 3 guitars trying to listen to me, check me out. Like,
in my head, as you're discussing this, I'm like, oh God, 2 less opinions.
It's been a dream.
2 less opinions.
I've always been in big ass bands. Like my high school band had 6 people and we had a keyboard player. Like, I've always been in 5-6-piece bands. It's never failed. And I've always thought, like, I've looked at bands like Chevelle and thought, like, man, these guys are up here, just the 3 of these guys smashing hats like this. And
love them, Chevelle.
I love Chevelle.
Yeah.
And so I've always looked at 3-piece bands and thought that was so cool. And, Mike, Dave, and I would be on tour and we'd be hanging out, checking out a dive bar somewhere and who knows where. And be like, oh, it'd be sweet to have a 3-piece side project. We always joked about having a side project, and now this is our project. So,
like Archie said, I think it's pretty funny about having 2 less opinions in the band, and like that's for people that haven't been in a band or in a situation where you're dealing with like 4 to 5 other people, it's for every I feel being in a band, for every 10 ideas you have, you can get like 2 across because it's tough to get everyone to agree on something. So I mean that has to be definitely a benefit in this for you.
Oh, it's so much more laid back and relaxing. And I always tell people that being in a band is like having 4 wives or 4 girlfriends, and you're trying to balance them all at the same time, which is impossible. It's hard enough to get married to one person, but
and you're not even having sex.
You don't even have,
you don't know that.
Hey, there was that one night in Toledo.
We got the Fleetwood Mac vibe going. Anyways, yeah, it's very simple, and I've known Dave and Mike for such a long time, and we were friends before we worked together. It's one of those situations where we had a relationship, and we've kept in touch, and we ended up being in a band together, and we see eye to eye in most things, and I think we have an even temperament. Like, there's no egomaniacs in this project. There's nothing crazy. We're laid back dudes. We're all from up north, which I always joke about because I always hit it off with people from up north, like you guys. Mike's from Ohio. Dave's from Pennsylvania. I'm from upstate New York. Our manager's from New Jersey. He lives in Nashville now. Our producer's from New Jersey. He lives in Nashville now. Our whole squad is all these northern dudes that have spread out. Nice. You guys know how it is. So it's kind of, we have the same temperament, man. We've nothing was handed to us growing up. We've had to work for everything we have, and if you look at the root right there, I think that sets a pretty good tone for being on the same page with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes hand in hand. When you're having fun, the music just seems to flow better, and the ideas and the whole writing process. So, are you guys looking to write have a whole album, or are you going to do EPs?
We're not really talking much about how we're going to do things yet. I think right now our focus is just putting out singles, man, and just because again, there's no pressure to tour. Let's get some tastemaker songs out. Let's build our brand and include the fans in that song. Eventually, there will be some physical releases and bigger package releases, but right now we're trying to play the new digital era, which people want to have. People don't have an attention span. Let's get it. What's new? Instead of dropping all our eggs into an album right now, and we can't even go tour it. let's just keep the songs going. And but we do have a lot of music written. We've been kind of simmering songs. Like I feel like every week, like we're on Zoom calls, we're on the phone, we're sending ideas, demos back. Our producer never stops working. So we, I can call him with an idea and say, hey man, or even some feedback, but hey, that snare drum hit and the second verse is really bothering me. Like, all right, I'm going out of my studio to fix it right now. Like, we have a squad of guys that everyone's stuck at home for the most part, and we're just cooking this thing up, man. We're just adding some spices here and there, and just slow boiling.
And just to touch upon what you said about how releasing a single here, a single there, I think that's probably the new way of doing things now. Just, I feel like it's more exciting, and more importantly, I mean, it's exciting for the fans, but I think it's for the band itself, because you always have like that new goal, that whole like new song we want to put out. Whereas when you're writing a whole album, you may have written these songs a year and a half, 2 years ago, where they're not going to see the light of day until the whole process is over. Now, it's almost like you have the freedom of being able to put them out as they're done, if you would.
Yeah, it's like having a birthday every 3 or 4 months. Like birthday present. Like, all right, cool.
Yeah, and it gives like each song like a how like some tracks get lost on a full length,
Exactly.
Oh, you what? We're not playing this live. We're probably just going to be, this will be a filler, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It gives each individual track like, all right, this is new. It's like a new type of entity, a new type of life, and it's almost like, you want to know what? I dig this. I did. And then when you put them, I don't know. You have to realize something like this. Like when you put all your songs together on a full length, now it's like a different flow, man. It's a different vibe. It's now how do they all go together, and what should go here and what goes there.
And that's been the exciting part, because we have all these songs put together. We're like, all right, what's the right chess move here? What song should we put out next? And it's so funny because we always think we know what songs people are going to like the most, and that's hardly ever the case. Yeah. And we thought for sure that "Fly on the Wall" was our tastemaker radio song that everyone was going to like, and then we have a lot of people that were like, "Smile Like a Hostage" is way cooler. Like I really like this energy way more, so we can be a little riskier with the tones we're putting out there and the vibe of each track, and people are going to respond accordingly. And if you don't like this song, maybe you'll like the next one. If not, keep waiting. It's coming.
So you're working with if I get his name right, Albert Di Fiore.
Yep, that's right.
Right? Producer?
Sounds pretty Italian, right? Sounds pretty New Jersey.
Like he's got prosciutto in his pocket.
That's great.
How's that been going so far? Because I stalked out your Instagram for a hot minute, and
Cool.
I see like you were at home for a little bit, and some like it was like a mix between a media company and a studio. Then I see you were in Nashville. Right?
Yep.
So where are you primarily like recording these tracks for the new material, and how's it going with Albert?
Yeah, Albert's the man. He's been like I said, he's been just nonstop. He's made our project his main focus for. It's been almost a year now. We just kind of were hooked up with him through some mutual industry folk, and like I said, we hit it off. He's a Jersey guy. He's kind of almost like a fourth band member. He brings a lot to the table. It's nice to have a producer like him that's really involved, and not just some guy who's just trying to spit you through the machine and take your points and take your money and sell records and get you out of the studio. Yeah. He's doing a great job with our music, and he's also helping us on the side. As I mentioned before, we're all musicians. We've never really been recording engineers. We've always had someone to do that for us. And being stuck at home, we've all had to build up our setups to be able to record remotely. And he's helped us big time with that. But yeah, I have my own studio up in upstate New York. I spend most of my time out there. I moved back to New York like 2 years ago. I actually I had about 2 years where we were touring so much with Red Sun Rising that I just didn't even have an apartment. I just rolled. It was awesome. I could write a book about it. But yeah, that was fun.
Looked at the sheet and was like, I don't think I need an apartment. We're gonna be We're gonna be gone for a while.
2 weeks off, right? And I always make jokes about it because all my money would go to eating filet mignon and having nice dinners in some random city in Europe, and so instead of paying rent, I was just eating. So I thought about naming a book Homeless with a Side of Steak or some stupid shit like that.
I like it.
So anyways, yeah, that was fun. But I moved back to my hometown about 2 years ago to clear the mind, and then next thing you know, I'm still there now. So
Yeah. Next thing you know, I didn't move.
it was supposed to be a temporary thing, but we'll see where that goes down the road. But it's all good.
Yeah.
So talk about a little bit about touring. Like, you guys were on the road at Red Sun Rising for what? You said a couple years?
Yeah, probably about 4 years, pretty much straight, man. I mean, we were doing like the longest stretch we did 17 weeks straight. Check this out, which I think is pretty unheard of. We did West Coast with Seven Dust, East Coast with Three Doors Down, Europe with Skillet, Europe and Russia. And there was no time in between. We had like 3 days off before we went to Europe. And so we were always doing those kind of stretches. And my family's all split up, and I would go see my sisters in Florida, my mom in Georgia. Like every time I had a week or two off, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go see somebody, or I'm gonna go visit Europe, or so. But yeah, touring like that was definitely exhausting, and that's kind of why I've actually really enjoyed this COVID break for the first 3 or 4 months. It was like, all right, it gave me an opportunity to kind of decompress and put some things into perspective, because I didn't really realize that when you're on the road that much and things are moving so quickly, it's hard to get the big picture of what you're doing. And then obviously I was happy with my career and where that was going, but I wasn't really taking the time to figure out my personal life and stuff like that, like just your everyday stuff. So that takes a toll, and you see a lot of bands that can't handle that. You see guys that have too much going on at home to where they can't balance it. And I was the opposite. I had nothing going on at home. My whole life was like, I wanted to go on tour for 12 months straight. I didn't even want to break. Like my bunk was my bedroom. Like that's where I lived. I had all my knickknacks back there. But yeah, man, that was a blur. That was an amazing adventure. And I don't know if we'll ever tour that hard again. That was kind of us cutting our teeth and being a new band, and we were taking every single opportunity that came our way, and gradually we were able to be a little more selective and take the tours that we really thought were good for us, and not just hop on a heavy metal tour that had no business being on just because it was an opportunity. But
I'm actually curious, when you mentioned those 3 bands, where were you most well received out of a Seven Dust crowd, a Skillet crowd, and a Three Doors Down crowd? Like that's Seven Dust and Three Doors Down kind of same-ish error, but Skillet's definitely different. So like, where were you received? How well?
Where do you think? I'll tell you in a second. I'd love to hear what you guys think.
I would definitely say that the Three Doors Down crowd gave you some love, and
That's definitely true.
And I would have to say that I don't think you get no love, but I would think I would say the Three Doors Down, and then probably Seven Dust and Skillet.
Yeah, actually, I think it was just because of where we were. The Skillet tour, the European crowd was. I mean,
oh yeah, okay, that's a factor.
If we would have been out there with Three Doors Down, maybe it would have been. Anyways, the Skillet shows, like, I think if you would have asked anybody in our band what our favorite show of all time was, we would have said Moscow, Russia with Skillet. Like 8,000 people, crazy crowd. That whole tour was sold out. People were just nuts. They appreciate American music. They appreciate rock. It's cool to be in a rock band. There was 16-year-old kids out in the audience, a much younger demographic. But yeah, those were all 3 great tours.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like I said, very different crowds, and they were all great in their own regard. But yeah, so all good.
I just am thinking of something like, who decides whether all right, I got the Skillet, guys got to jump on now. Now, is it like you guys got to jump on now, or is it, hey, do you want this gig? How's that determined with
it was usually, do you want this gig? And we've turned down, like, I'll give an example. We got offered to do the Marilyn Manson Rob Zombie tour. I think it was called like Monsters of Mayhem or something. It was an arena tour, and we had a tough choice on that because, like, it was huge exposure. But at the time, it was Red Sun Rising, the best opening band for that kind of crowd, and we decided it wasn't. So ultimately, we called the shots. And
that's
like
cool.
I said, early on, we did have to take some tours that weren't our favorite because we were trying to build a business and we needed to generate income and new fans. Even if you play for 2,000 people and you don't get nearly as many fans as you want out of that crowd, you're still building a fan base.
Yeah.
So over time, you get a little more selective. And by the end of Red Sun Rising's career, we were opening up for bands like Incubus and Thrice and bands that we thought were really closer to the sound that we wanted to have.
It's funny because like we obviously we're like on the hometown hero level of like, you know, but when we get a show, like I'm like, yeah, fuck it, we're playing it. Like to and Archie's the one who's like, hey, let me ask you a question. Do you really think that we go along good with this? And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like people want to go to see a show. They're going to see different things. All the bands don't need to sound the same. Like, fucking tell them yeah. Like I'm the fucking tell them yeah guy.
We're just ready to rock. You know, that's what it comes down to.
So when you're on tour, right? So it obviously can't. I mean, you hear like war stories, people on tour, like every day is a party, and every day is this. Or, I mean, but like you seem like a level-headed guy. Obviously, like I'm sure you like to have fun, but I mean, are you mindful of being disciplined? Of okay, well, listen, we have a show tomorrow, or we have this. Like you know, some guys are partying on the off days. Some guys are like, I'm gonna go to a museum.
I've thought about this a lot, and I've talked about this a lot with many people, but it's not that hard to not fuck up, in my opinion, in this industry. Like, I can have
I told you, it's not hard not to fuck up. What are you doing?
I don't know, man. Yes, I love museums. I love to go to a museum. I certainly had my dorky days where I'd go explore and not party or relax and read in my bunk all day. But being on the road, you could, if you want to drink 12 beers a day and sleep till noon, sleep till 2, 3 o'clock, like it's your window of keeping it in check, in my opinion, is very easy. It's not that hard to not, don't fuck up that hard. You can have a lot of fun and you can still sleep in till 4 or 5 o'clock and play a great show. So I think I've always been mindful of keeping things in check, but it doesn't mean I'm not having, I'm sitting on the bunk like, what should I have, a mint tea or lemon tea? We had a lot of fun and we drank a lot of beers and we had a great experience. But I think it's hard for some people to not tip the scale. And I think that's never been an issue for me. I can have a lot of fun, and not saying that couldn't happen. I think people have different on and off switches, and my off switch for me, if I have too much fun and drink too many beers, I just get tired and want to go to sleep. Some people, they're going to go to, who knows where they're going to go. I don't know.
Take it to the next level.
Meanwhile, rewind a couple years ago. Pat, get your dick out of that clown, Pat. Let's go. We got to go to
later. Before Pat's prom, we had him on the podcast. Look at him now.
I just want to talk a little bit about a Shiprock experience, because we got to say hello for the first time. We had a beer. I believe we had a beer. We hung out a little bit, and we really enjoyed meeting you and watching you guys play. That was fucking dope. I was there for my birthday. We celebrated my birthday that weekend, and I probably lost about 2 or 3 years that trip.
Yep.
So I'm sure you've been asked about Shiprock a million times, but how did you enjoy it? How'd you love it? How'd you eat? I had a burger every day.
We definitely enjoyed it. We had talks where like, we're never going to do that 2 years in a row. We need to do it every other year. That's what I think we did it in 2015 or 16, and then 2018. I'm guessing.
18.
Does that sound right? 2018?
I think 18, right, Rock?
18 is when we saw it.
Yeah, 18. Yeah, that's when they had the really good burger bar on that ship with the truffle fries or some shit. I don't know.
Yes. I'm still burping them up every so often.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that reburp flavor. But yeah, man, that's a fun one. It's hard to find the recovery time that you need, that I need. Like, if I drink a lot or have a lot of fun, I need a day of recovery, and you just have that thing just keeps on going. But that's always been good to us. And the cool thing about that cruise is the fans come out anytime.
That's good exposure. That's good exposure.
There's going to be a loyal fan from Shiprock at every show in any town you play. Like, literally, it never fails.
Yeah. That's the way it goes. And it's a unique thing. It's like, for you guys, it's like going to the concert, and then the fans that just don't fucking go home. You wake up, they're there again.
Oh, yeah. It's like, oh, man.
You were fucking great last night, man.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing?
Breakfast was always so awkward because you just be like, we hung out last night? Oh, what's up, man?
I think I told Rocco this. I think I wasn't 100% sure, but one elevator ride down, so one fucking really hungover elevator ride down. I was in the elevator with Mike, your singer, and I think he had sunglasses on, and I looked at him. I didn't say a word. Didn't need to.
Yeah,
I looked at him.
Bob.
I saw him, and I went, reminds me of a dude from Entourage for some reason. And then I walked out.
Perfect. That's all you need.
But yeah, that was awesome, and that's fucking great exposure for any band at any time. There was a band, Palisades, from right. I saw them I saw them at the Stone Pony, and then I was like, oh shit, they're on Shiprocked, like, and then you start picking up newer bands. Like, we walked away. I remember with Rocco, we walked away with 2 bands. We actually walked off the deck going, yo, that band Dead is fucking dope.
Yeah.
And I go, how good was fucking Pat's band? And we were both very impressed.
I like
That was my 2 takeaways
that was
from
Pat's
Shiprock.
band,
Pat's band. Oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Pat's band and Dead.
That was those are my 2 takeaways from Shiprock. Besides, awesome time, but like Archie said, it takes a couple of years off your life.
It's awesome.
How? I know we talked about touring, but I always ask this to with touring musicians. I love it. So I'd love to hear touring not in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Is the love just different?
It really is, man. And
it really is, isn't it?
I remember we did our second European tour with Alter Bridge, and we had a long talk with Mark Tremonti about, because those guys, like, Alter Bridge will sell out like huge rooms in Europe. Like they're one of those bands that are way bigger in Europe than they are in the US, from what I can tell, from what they said as well. And there's a different energy out there, man. And people just, I think the main takeaway that I felt from the first couple of times I toured Europe was that people appreciate you coming to their country. Like, I got a lot of hey, thanks for coming to Romania. Thanks for coming to Germany. Like, people are excited to have you in their country. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Thanks for letting us play here. This was amazing. And there's no TVs in the venues. People are, not at the bar during the show. Everybody checks the set out. They walk to the bar, come back. It's a much more focused and intense audience. And even when, there were certain crowds that weren't the loudest, maybe. Like, I remember certain cities in Germany, people were really kind of subdued and really watching the show. And you'd be like, especially early on, like, did those guys like us? Like, was that a good show? Like, what? and then we sell a shitload of merch, and people are stalking us after the show. It's like, oh, I guess they liked it, because people just react and respond differently. But I think that's the thing that I enjoy most about Europe is people are just eyeing you down, and they're just in the trenches with you musically, and just a little bit different from your average American show.
Yeah.
So traveling throughout the U.S., do you find it, and kind of like just to dovetail on what you said, do you find it that maybe states like, whether it be the Midwest or places in the South, they're more appreciative than you get on like the coast, like California, like New York, New Jersey? There's so much stuff to do, respectively, in those states that I feel like when a tour or bands go through the middle of the U.S., it's like, okay, that's the main focus. Like, that's what's going on that night.
Yeah, I think the Midwest has always been our bread and butter. We've probably played the shows in Midwestern states, a 4-to-1, 5-to-1 ratio to California and states on the coast. And for me, my favorite shows on tour that, especially ones that I really have a distinct memory of, are like the random super small towns. Like, where the hell are we today? Like Fargo, North Dakota, like just towns like that that are just in the middle of nowhere, and people just came out, and like you said, the whole town knew you were there. And that's a little different from a bustling city where there's so many things going on, and you're just another group making noise. There's probably 15 other touring bands playing that night. And so, yeah, I think the small towns, man, that's a lot of fun.
And then you'll get a call, yo, Rock on the Range, let's go.
Were you guys there for that?
No.
Okay.
Didn't make that one. The most, I think, me and my wife, my girl at the time, but we went to the Big Four. We traveled out to Cali to go see the Big Four. That was pretty dope.
Nice.
But when you get a call because I know that some of you guys were from Ohio, you guys were Ohio based, but like when you get a call to do Rock on the Range, that has to, bro, you have to have that little thing in your stomach. You're like, I'm either nervous or I got to take a shit, or let's go.
Usually do both before the show. A little nervous. But yeah, man, the festival circuit, and again, Europe, the festival circuit's absolutely wild too. But you know, Danny Wimmer presents. He's the promoter that puts on Rock on the Range and a lot of those throughout the U.S. And I think those festivals have done so much for rock music and keeping it relevant. And you know, Rock on the Range was definitely my favorite of all the festivals that we've done. And I think we played it in 2018 as well. Maybe it was 2019. We opened up for Tool on the main stage. Tool's one of my favorite bands of all time, and that's a legit filled arena, outdoor arena. It's just a next level show, and those are just, you know, if you look back at my career with Red Sun Rising, there's probably 15 or 20 shows that I'll always take with me, and Rock on the Range, 2 times we played it, they're definitely on that list.
That's a little sea of people, you know, just showing you a lot of love, and I'm sure that's got to be awesome. You know, like Rocco and I had like a miniature taste. Like when we play like the Wellmont Theater in Montclair, and it's packed. You know, you feel fucking great for a hot minute, but seeing a sea of people at a festival, that's fucking. You want to? I can imagine that it's not even. You're not even really like scared anymore because now it's too many people. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking drum.
Yeah, it's definitely not scary. I think after a certain point, you can't really absorb any more excitement. Like,
I can't get any more high, bro.
Playing for 500 people, like 500 to 1,000. That feels pretty much the same as playing for 30,000 in a lot of ways. I think it's because if you're playing and if you actually try to absorb what's going on out that audience, you would just have to take a nap on stage. Like, give me a minute. I don't know.
Yeah. So with these 2 new songs, and you know, obviously I've listened to your other albums that you're on, and I get like a Queens of the Stone Age feel, like a little bit like you're in your drumming. You know, have you ever? And I'm sorry, that guy, fucking his name escapes me.
John Theodore, the drummer.
Yes.
John
Theodore, I could hear that. I could just hear you in that, you know, that groove and shit. Like, is there times where you're going to the guys, maybe like, hey, you want to know what? Let's try out, you know, different beats, different signatures, different. You know, do we have to stay on 4/4? Do we like how much of your influences and how much of your knowledge, or are you just going to be writing pop type, you know, like a radio type feel hits?
I think there's a definite give and take that happens between, you know, my drumming and Mike and Dave, their parts. And I feel like the way my parts work is I'm always trying to push the limits. And a lot of times, you know, if we have a song or a demo, I'm going to try to find some fucked up fills to throw in there. I'm always going to try, even if I know this is not going to quite work out, it might inspire like, hey man, that was a little bit too crazy, but what if we just took the first half of that and moved it here? And Mike and Dave are really good about that, and I really value their feedback when it comes to my drum parts. And you know, Queens of Stone Age is definitely a big influence for my drumming. That whole era of rock and just any cool rock, like swanky rock, not cock rock. If you guys know what I mean by cock rock, like no, I'm not inspired by cock rock in the slightest, but I'm always trying to again assert myself a little bit and. Always trying to serve the song too, so there's a delicate balance, and I'm just kind of thankful that for one, I'm in a band with 2 guys that'll let me do that, because I do a lot of session work, and people just hire me to play in their albums, and you don't show up to those sessions and try any of that shit because you'll get fired. You know, they want to play the drums, get it done right, and we want you out in a day. And my guys are patient with me, and they allow me to try shit. And we do spend a lot of time in the drum parts. We spend some extra time. We usually have, like, if I do 3 or 4 drum takes, and we're like, all right, we're good on that. There's a couple takes in there that are good enough for the record. Now go ahead and do musical masturbation take where play whatever shit you want to get off your chest, and maybe something will jump out. And 9 times out of 10, it's too much. But every once in a while, you get that moment where that was sick, and that's going to work. But it's a mindset, man. I'm just trying to serve the song, not stepping on anybody's toes. But also, I do want to be a drummer that people notice. I don't want to camouflage. I want to sound like a unique drummer. Like, I want to sound like my favorite drummers. I want to be in that same vein. So I always try to fight that fight.
Put your stamp on the music scene.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by session players. So when you're doing that, are any of these like, how do they tell you what to play? Are some of these songs demoed already, and then like, okay, we want this, and how much of it is your own spin on it?
You'd be surprised how often I get hired for sessions, and people are like, they don't really know what. That's kind of why they're bringing me in. Like, they don't really know what the drums should do. So it's like, all right, let's jam. Like, I actually did a country record 2 months ago in North Carolina. I've never played country. I'm not a country music fan. It's very similar to rock. And I was in a room with a fiddle player, a guitarist, a bassist, the singer who also played piano. And it was like, I was sent the demos, and some of them had MIDI drums and demo drums in there for me to build off of, but mostly it's just about feeling out the song, and that mindset is the reason I think I get hired, is because I can hear a song and know instinctively what to play and what not to play. And like I said, I treat my band way different. I don't try that like safe, quick route. I'm trying to I'm trying to find the shortcut, which can get me lost potentially as well. But, I'm always trying to stretch that. But yeah, it's a very different mindset, the session work. Your job is to serve the song, and your job is to not be noticed. Honestly, most of the time it's like, play the drums, and because we're going to bring in our drummer to play your parts. We're not trying to make it sound like you. It should sound safe and effective.
Well, from what I see somebody who gets to do what they love. You have an outlet with your band. You can do whatever do what you want, and then then this is like, you're gonna actually pay me. You're gonna tell me, all right, I'll show up to work. No problem.
Yeah. You want to play this beat? Sure, I'll play. Oh, you want the bell, the cymbal? Oh, no problem. No problem.
More bell. I got you. I'll give you bell all day, bro.
I'll play bells till my hands turn blue, man.
But that's awesome. You get to do what you love, man. So that's really fucking cool.
Well, that's been keeping me sane during all this. I mean, we've been busy with the violent stuff, but honestly, not being able to play shows, I've been traveling, about once a month, once every 2 months for random sessions that I get, and outside of the violent stuff, and that's just kind of kept my musical brain challenged in new ways, and it's just fun. I think drummers are cut from a different cloth in that way. It's kind of fun to just jump into a new situation and be put on the spot like that. All right, here's a song. I don't know what I'm playing yet. Let's go. And you just kind of jump in and hope for the best.
Do you ever see Hired Gun?
Yep, I definitely did watch that.
How awesome was that?
That was a very insightful documentary.
Like, true, right? Pretty true?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I haven't had any of those nightmare stories like you saw in the documentary. Like, Was it Bruce Springsteen's drummer? One of the drummers asked for a raise. He used their drummer
Billy Joel, I think.
Billy Joel. He's a drummer for 20 years, and he just fired him for asking for a raise. That's a cutthroat industry. Yeah. And that's why I'm glad that I have my project and my outlet and my guys that this is our band, our business, and I've always valued that. I do love session work, and I love that challenge, but at the same time, like, I'm in this I want to be in a band. And I tried that for a bit. I moved to LA in 2014 and I did a pop tour with this artist named Matty Diaz, and everything was great. It was fun. I have no complaints. It was one of the coolest things I ever got to do. But when that gig was over, it was over. There's no, hey, come on tour with me for 10 years. Like, you can't really build, you're depending on getting a lot of calls. This gig. That's the only way you're going to make it as a session guy. And I prefer to have a catalog of work and a discography with a band and evolve with an actual band. Yeah. So.
Well, cheers to you, bro, because that's I love what I hear, because it's just, you can hear the passion, you can, you do what you love, and you don't have to fucking wake up and do a 9 to 5. You know? So kudos to you, bro.
Appreciate it.
One more thing about your Instagram, because I was checking it out. The people you also give it lessons too.
Yeah,
Like-
that's been a big thing for me this year, especially.
So you got lessons, session work, your band. So you're staying musically fucking fit, my friend.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because especially with this downtime, I'm always like, I've never really had that call to join the rat race before. You know what I mean? Like I've always been moving so much that I'm not caught up in like, do I need to get a job or should I be making more money or whatever? So as I've been home, that the way that calling has affected me is I've gone out and done more shit with music in different areas. So it's kind of funny that's worked out the way it has. And I've always taught lessons. I used to teach Skype lessons on tour because we sit around for 10 hours a day, but I'm with my ass waiting for something to do. So before the show, exactly. So I would teach lessons, and now everyone's teaching lessons because everyone's off the road. But I kind of had a head start on that, and I enjoy that. I think it's a balance too. If I taught 40 hours a week, I think I'd hate the drums. But I have a handful of students that are passionate like me about the instrument, and they inspire me in a different way. And I've learned a lot from being a teacher as well. Even teaching somebody simple beats, like because I do have beginner students, I have advanced students, whatever. But just being on that side of the glass and being an instructor has given me another mindset that I'm glad that I have.
Yeah.
That I think helps.
Cool. So, in a perfect world, this pandemic goes away. What does 2021 look like for the Violent?
2021, dishing out more tunes. I think we're really excited that we get to debut our band, our live performance one of these days. Our first show out of this pandemic is going to be our first show. And I think I keep just daydreaming about jamming the 3-piece, man. Just playing a show with 3-piece. We haven't been on the road together yet, and I'm really excited about that. But we're gonna grind, man. And I feel really good about the potential of this project. And it's interesting because right now we can't attack that potential. We're doing what we can from home, but I have to occasionally remind myself, like, shit's kind of fucked up right now. Don't judge the band's success right now. We want to be playing for thousands of people a day and doing huge festivals. And because we're not, you start to feel like, oh, what's going on? Am I succeeding? Am I doing well? But yeah, we're gonna kick the door out. We're gonna do it again. And we've learned a lot from our last project and where that's failed and where that's succeeded. And we're taking that into a new project here. And we're excited for where this can go, and hopefully will go.
I'm very excited. I love what I hear, and
Thanks,
I tend, and it's not my weight, but I tend to go on the heavier side. All right.
Weight too.
So I love what I hear, man, and I really appreciate you giving us the time to just chill with us, talk with us for a little bit.
Yeah,
Hopefully down the road you got more shit out, man. We want to talk to you again. Can you tell everybody where would they find you if you want to be found?
If you want to find me, I'm mostly on Instagram. My title is Gerasia _drums. You could find The Violent. I think it's The Violent Music. I got to check on this. Let me take a look here.
Hold on one second.
Hang on a second. I don't want to give any misinformation. Instagram is The Violent Music. So yeah, we're on Facebook, YouTube, you name it, all the standard social media channels. And look, as you guys said, we only have 2 songs out, and it's just the beginning. And I think all the buzz that we've generated off of 2 songs, which is roughly 7.5 minutes of music, is pretty exciting. So more to come, and we'll see what happens, man.
Awesome.
Uncharted territory with a new project, so
Nice.
a lot of potential.
Well, I tell you what, when you make it around here, when you hit the Starland Ballroom, when you hit the Wellmont Theater, we will be seeing you.
We talked about the Midwest. New Jersey might as well be the Midwest because people up there go crazy for our shit, and we've always loved playing Jersey. So it feels like you guys are in the Midwest, basically.
All right, brother. Yo, thank you so much again, man. We really appreciate it.
Buddy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Great hang. I can't wait to hang out in New Jersey.
Definitely, bro.
Stay well. Enjoy Florida.
Yes.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Bye, pal.
We'll see if I come back.
Peace.
All right, guys. Later.
Bye-bye.
How fucking cool is that guy, bro? Gerasia from The Violent, session work, lessons, professional musician, touring musician. He does it all. and he's a very cool dude, very down to earth, and we wish nothing but complete success for Pat from Not These Two Fucking Guys. Follow Pat Gerasia on Instagram at Pat Gerasia _drums. Follow The Violent on Instagram at The Violent Music, and can't wait to hear some new music. Can't wait for their album to drop, see them on tour, see that 3-piece come alive. With that being said, Rocco, please tell the people what they need to hear.
If you just heard us kicking it with our boy Pat, and you ain't a rat, your pockets are fat, and you can't beat that with a bat, then you just listened to Not These Two Fucking Guys podcast.
We out.